The Kalos League is normally regarded as one of the best Pokemon tournaments in the entire anime. Like seriously, Ash's vibe felt completely different this season and it was all leading up to this tournament. So I'm trying to see if this Pokemon League actually holds up today since it's almost been a decade since it aired. This league starts off with Ash and the gang trying to register for the tournament, but an interviewer stops Ash and asks him what his goal is. Ash tells them that he wants to win the entire Kalos League, and this is projected on the TV, and this gets some people mad. Ash now has some haters. This guy ends up walking up to Ash all pissed off and says,
"Since you've already decided you're the winner, show me how strong you are."
Now Ash is a bit confused why this guy is coming at him, but you would think that he would at least have a strong team to back up his talk. But when he ends up sending out his Pokemon, it is a clown show because I don't know what tournament he thinks he's winning with the Furfu. Ash was about to put this trainer in his place, but Serena told Ash that he has no time to be fighting fodder and they have to register for the tournament, so the gang ends up dipping, not battling this trainer. When Ash finally registers for the league, everyone is here. All his rivals and even Alain all pulled up ready to fight. Ash ends up getting his matchup against this random guy in a pretty cool fit, while Ash's friend Trevor ends up getting paired up against Alain in the first match. Now Trevor says he has a trump card to try to beat Alain. Everyone's pretty interested in hearing what his plan is, but deep down everyone knows Trevor is not winning, and when their battle begins, Trevor and Alain both send out their Charizards. Now my money was always on Alain, but Trevor showed us he's not one to be played with since he instantly Mega Evolved his Charizard into Mega Charizard Y. This Charizard went in to use Dragon Tail, but Alain's Charizard ended up dodging it, and then it Mega Evolved into Mega Charizard X, and we all know the script by now. Mega Charizard X was always cooler than Mega Charizard Y, and it clean sweeps Trevor's Charizard. Now the battle isn't over yet since it's a 3-on-3 match, but Ash and the gang kind of knew it was over since they had no faith in their friend, and Ash left the arena to go prepare for his match. And let's be real, Ash is just preying on Trevor's downfall since he wants to verse Alain anyways. While Ash is heading to the arena for his match, he ends up getting stopped by the bum that was pressing him earlier. He got up in Ash's face and revealed that he's jealous of Ash for having 8 gym badges since he has 0 but wants to compete in the Kalos League. He kept on whining, asking Ash to battle, saying stuff like, "Are you scared you're gonna lose to a trainer that has no gym badges?" So even though Ash was running late to his battle, he decides to quickly put this trainer in his place. This was like a no contest. Ash had this guy slumped up in the hallway like he killed him or something. This somehow escalated to the point of him crying and begging Ash to please win the Kalos League for people like him that have no gym badges. Then Ash took this as one of the few times he has to aura farm by just saying alright bet and makes it to his battle. When the battle began, it was Altaria versus Greninja. Altaria went in to use Draco Meteor, and Ash was playing no games from the beginning because he went into battle bond with Greninja. While they were in the middle of their transformation, Greninja was dodging all of the meteors, and then he ends up jumping up in the sky, completing his transformation, looking clean, and throwing a shuriken at the Altaria, one-shotting it. Ash won the battle so quickly, establishing himself as a threat in the tournament and that he was here to win. And man, dreams do come true considering a season ago, Ash was losing in the Unova League to a baby Pokemon, and now he seems seriously locked in. We are now on the second episode of the Kalos League, and Ash advances to the semi-finals. Yes, I'm not joking, it has moved that fast. On one hand, it would be cool to see each and every individual battle being fleshed out, but I feel like this season they don't want to play any games and only show us the main events, which is why we jump so far. And to be honest, they may have made a smart move since we're in the era of brain rot and everything needs to get to the point super quickly. Ash is matched up against Sawyer for his semi-final match, and it's going to be a 6-on-6, but the one problem is Ash only has 5 Pokemon. Everybody around Ash thought he was cooked, but he made a pretty smart move. He told Grudra if he made it to the semi-finals, he wanted to invite Grudra onto his team, and now that Ash is on the semi-finals, Grudra ended up pulling up to the Kalos League. With that, Ash was off to verse Sawyer in the semi-finals, and this battle was no joke. Ash and Sawyer have been rivals for a while, and everything was on the line. Sawyer is also one of the trainers that indirectly led Ash down a depressive spiral. Basically, Ash and Greninja were on a major losing streak, and when they lost to Sawyer as well, this really got into Ash's head, so they have a lot to prove. The battle begins with Ash sending out Hawlucha, and Hawlucha has a fire fit. You could tell they were serious. It didn't matter much though, since Sawyer sent out his Slacking. Now, Slacking may have the type disadvantage against Hawlucha, but this is the Pokemon anime, and type matchups don't matter, because Slacking used the move Counter, knocking out Ash's Hawlucha. Sawyer lets Ash know that even though he was at the disadvantage, he planned for this and had a strategy, and the theme of this battle clearly is that strategy will always triumph just a raw type matchup, which is a pretty good theme. The battle continues to go on, and Ash and Sawyer Sawyer are going blow for blow, and the animation genuinely is getting incredible. Pikachu vs Aegislash was really cool, Salamence vs Noivern had some really amazing flying sequences, and Goodra vs Slurpuff was great because even though Goodra had the type disadvantage against a fairy type, they ended up double knocking each other out. But the highlight of this battle has to be Ash's Greninja versus Sawyer's Sceptile. These were the last Pokemon each of the boys had, and everything was on the line. Greninja went in using his Shadow Clones, and Sawyer used Frenzy Plant, and look at the ground animation on this move, it is fire! Greninja ends up dodging a bunch of attacks, and they clash using Leaf Blade and Cut. Both of these trainers knew they had to take it seriously, so Sawyer Mega evolved his Sceptile, and Ash used Battle Bond with Greninja, creating Ash Greninja. After this, it was immediately on site. Greninja rushed in and curb stomped Sceptile. Sawyer was panicking and told Sceptile to use Leaf Storm, and it worked. Even though Greninja got sent flying, they went back in and were clashing with Sceptile for some great hand-to-hand combat. Anytime Greninja was taking damage, Ash could feel it too, and they knew they couldn't sustain it for much longer. Sceptile sent more plants flying towards Greninja, and Greninja was moving crazy. He was running all over the vines, dodging absolutely everything. Even when the plants made contact with Greninja, it didn't matter because he sliced them all open. Ash and Greninja were completely in sync. Ash was even dodging and weaving like he's on the battlefield as well. Ash knew he had to end this battle quickly, so he told Greninja to jump up in the sky and make a bunch of double teams of himself, and while they were all charging at Sawyer's Sceptile, Greninja was charging up his Resend Shuriken, and he sent it flying at Sawyer's Sceptile, completely knocking him out. Ash won the battle, making it to his first ever finals ever. Now this is completely hype. Our boy Ash made it. I remember back when this was airing, everybody was talking about this, and we were excited to see the match between Alain versus Ash. The battle begins with Pikachu versus Tyranitar, and I feel bad for Pikachu that he has to verse a pseudo-legendary, but he's not doing that bad. Pikachu uses Iron Tail on the ground to get rid of the weather effects, which is extremely smart. Alain told Tyranitar to use Stone Edge at Pikachu, but Pikachu was blocking all of the rocks with his Iron Tail. Then when Pikachu went in to use Iron Tail, Tyranitar ends up biting Pikachu's tail and tossing him around. But Pikachu uses to his advantage to charge up his Electro Ball, sending it flying and knocking out a Tyranitar. This man Pikachu is taking down pseudo-legendaries in the final round. The battle continues on, and Ash and Alain start using a variety of their Pokemon. Ash's Noivern has a battle which he ends up losing, and when Ash went to go pick up this Pokemon, it looks like a death scene in the anime. Hawlucha came out, and Noivern told Hawlucha to please win this battle for him or something like that, and this hyped up Hawlucha. Hawlucha's fight against Weavile was kind of scary, since this Pokemon was just taking a bunch of damage, but it was blocking all of it. When everyone thought the battle was done, Hawlucha still stood tall. In the end, Hawlucha was able to turn around this battle, defeating Weavile and putting Ash ahead in Pokemon. As the league went on, these trainers were going neck and neck. Pikachu came back out again against Alain's Metagross, and Pikachu ended up defeating another pseudo-legendary, so then Alain sent out his Charizard. Now Pikachu was already tired from defeating a bunch of Pokemon already, so he ends up losing. Ash's Goodra came out against Alain's Bisharp, and Ash's Goodra didn't really do that much this fight. It did change the weather though, but everything was down to Ash's Greninja. This Pokemon wasted no time, creating a bunch of clones of himself and instantly eliminating Alain's Bisharp. It was now down to Greninja versus Charizard in the finals. Both these trainers knew everything was on the line, and Alain Mega evolved his Charizard and Ash used Battle Bond. These Pokemon were straight boxing, amazing hand-to-hand combat, and the animation was peak. Charizard was thinking smart, trying to use Thunder Punch to knock out Greninja, but Greninja used his Shuriken to block it. Greninja knocked this Pokemon back and tried to end the battle by creating a massive water shuriken. It even turned red, and I've never seen something like this before. And Charizard hit the ground using a Blast Burn, trying to do a final collide against Greninja. When both their attacks went off, there was a massive explosion. When the smoke cleared, both the Pokemon were standing, but in the end, Ash's Greninja fell, and Ash lost the battle. Now this got a lot of people mad. People thought that this was the tournament Ash was supposed to win, and when this was first airing, I was really mad too, since his Charizard already fought Pikachu and took some decent hits, but still ended up winning. Ash ends up taking his L honorably, and Alain becomes the Kalos League champion. Now my only wish was that in Pokemon Journeys, Ash and Alain had a rematch, but they really never did. There has been a lot more dumb stuff that has happened within the Pokemon anime, so click the video on your screen to figure out some of the dumbest mistakes in the Johto region.